In the top stories, Prime Minister Harris hosts monthly press conference, newly appointed senator sworn in, and police investigates 2 shooting incidents. The details on these stories and more after the break. Good evening and welcome to the ZIZ Channel 5 newscast. I'm Kyla Barrage. Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris updated citizens and residents on matters of national interest at the Prime Minister's monthly press conference held at the Parliamentary Lounge at Government Headquarters on Wednesday, October 26th. The Prime Minister addressed several topics, including the 86th meeting of the Monetary Council, updates on the CBI program, the state of the economy, the progress of police investigations, law and order, and issues relating to the Federation's immigration policies. During the conference, Prime Minister Harris also spoke of plans to nominate a new deputy speaker after making mention of the swearing-in of a new senator on Wednesday morning. Minister of Education, Honorable Sean Richards, Minister of State, Honorable Wendy Phipps, Attorney General, Honorable Vincent Byron, Premier of Nevis, the Honorable Vance Amory, Minister of Tourism, the Honorable Lindsay Grant, Cabinet Secretary Josephine Huggins, and members of the Police High Command were in attendance at the monthly press conference. The monthly conference gives the media direct access to the Prime Minister on a regular basis and keeps residents informed of the operation of his administration. Press Secretary to the Prime Minister, Valencia Grant, chaired the conference. The Prime Minister's monthly press conference was streamed live on ZIZ Radio 96.1 FM and Television Channel 5. Akila Byron Nisbet has been appointed Senator in the National Assembly. More in this report. At a short but significant ceremony at Government House on October 26th, His Excellency the Governor General Sir S.W. Tapley Seaton, GCMG, CVO QCJP, administered the oath of office and oath of allegiance to newly designated Senator Akila Byron Nisbet in the presence of her family and top government officials. Governor General Seaton, in remarks, noted that the government is pleased with their decision to appoint Senator Nisbet.
I want to welcome her to this morning's ceremony and to say that in her we are well pleased, because we can see from her curriculum vitae that she has been able to distinguish herself academically, and even to the point of fact that she once performed the role of Speaker in the National Assembly in a youth parliament. So I would certainly hope that she can contribute meaningfully to the process.
Upon taking the oaths, Senator Nisbet said she was honored to be appointed Senator in the National Assembly.
It is indeed an honor and a privilege for me to be given such a special opportunity to be able to be Senator within the House of Assembly. As a young woman, I know that I will be standing tall as a woman in Parliament, and as such I represent a great cross-section of the individuals who could perform such great roles, and I vow today to do my part in Parliament to ensure that a woman's voice is heard, but not only women, but young people's voice is also heard, and to also be able to bring some gender balance within Parliament. And with such an honor and privilege, I just want to say thank you to everyone, and I definitely look forward to my first day in Parliament.
Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris congratulated Nisbet on the appointment. He further revealed that she will be proposed for another role at the next sitting of National Assembly.
We are delighted as a cabinet to have chosen her to be the government representative as senator, and we will propose her to be the deputy speaker when the House convenes, bringing an end to the vacancy that now exists with the elevation of the Honorable Michael Perkins as the distinguished Honorable Speaker of the National Assembly.
Also present were Premier of Nevis and Senior Minister the Honorable Vance Amory, Attorney General the Honorable Vincent Byron Jr., Senator Honorable Wendy Phipps, Cabinet Secretary Mrs. Josephine Huggins, National Hero Dr. the Right Excellent and Right Honorable Sir Kennedy Alphonse Simmons, father of Senator Nisbet Terence Byron and mother Althea Byron, Alexis Nisbet her husband, and sister Karimu Byron. Mrs. Nisbet holds a Master's of Science degree in Computer Information System from Quinnipiac University, Connecticut, and a Bachelor's of Science in Information Systems Management from the University of South Florida. Reporting for ZIZ News, I'm Carla Barrage. The Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force's Violent Crimes Unit is currently investigating a shooting incident that occurred in the St. Johnson region. Reports indicate that a 39-year-old male was shot dead around 4 p.m. on Tuesday, October 25th. Reports also indicate that an unidentified female also sustained a gunshot wound to the lower region of her body. Investigations also revealed that the man was shot while he was inside a white car identified as rental RA966. According to reports, one person of interest is currently in custody with relation to the shooting incident. Meanwhile, the Violent Crimes Unit is also investigating a shooting incident in Otleys Village, which resulted in the death of a 20-year-old male resident of Keyon. Initial investigations revealed that the victim was shot sometime after 7 p.m. on Tuesday, October 25th, just a few hours after the St. Johnson shooting incident. Reports indicate that the young man was shot by an unknown assailant or assailants at the junction of Big Bow Alley and the Island Maid Road. Investigators from the Violent Crimes Unit, the Criminal Investigations Department, and technicians from the Forensic Services Unit canvassed both scenes for evidence. The police is appealing to anyone who may have been in the area or to anyone who may have seen suspicious activity relating to these incidents to contact the Violent Crimes Unit at 465-2241 or Crime Stoppers at 1-800-8477. After the break, the Viking Star makes its inaugural call at Port Zante. Sync. A formal meeting of Cabinet chaired by Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris took place on Monday, October 24th. Cabinet was updated on the recently concluded 86th meeting of the ECCB Monetary Council, as well as the immigration operation that took place this past weekend. Director General of the St. Kitts Nevis Information Service, SKNIS, Lesroy Williams, in a post-cabinet briefing spoke of the update which was given by Prime Minister Harris on the meeting of the Monetary Council.
Prime Minister Harris shared information on the substantive issues that are before the Council. He is the lead on a committee comprising 3 countries, namely St. Vincent and the Grenadines, St. Kitts and Nevis, and Antigua and Barbuda. The special committee has been set up to review the Banking Act and address concerns that the region is faced with respect to de-risking and correspondent banking issues.
It was further revealed by Mr. Williams that Cabinet approved the policy for the qualification of fractional ownership for properties under the Citizenship by Investment program. Cabinet also considered the issue of land areas for use as cemeteries in some areas. The MS Viking Star, the lead ship of the Viking Star class of cruise ships and the first such ship operated by Viking Ocean Cruises, a division of Viking Cruises, made its inaugural call at Port Zante Basti St. Kitts on Wednesday. The Honorable Lindsay Grant welcomed Captain Lachlan and his team of officers and crew to St. Kitts.
It's indeed a pleasure for me on behalf of the Ministry of Tourism and my team to welcome you to beautiful St. Kitts and Nevis. And I must say, you have chosen one of the best ports, not only in the Caribbean, but in the cruising ports worldwide. So on behalf of my team and the government of St. Kitts and Nevis, I want to welcome you, and I hope we have a long-lasting, fruitful and symbiotic relationship. Profitable for you and profitable for us.
Boone Lachlan, captain of the Viking Star, announced that come 2017, for the new cruise season, the Viking Sea will take over when the Viking Star leaves. It will make 12 port calls at Port Zante.
This is our first port. This is our maiden call into this beautiful island, and we're actually going to be here 12 times more now until late February. 12 times more. The Viking Star is the first one of 6, as I said, and we are very pleased to be here. Thank you all for accepting us, and we are bringing, together with our ship, beautiful vessel, we are bringing more than 900 guests on board and 470 crew members that will enjoy a beautiful island.
A mutual plaque exchange ceremony, which is the norm when a ship makes its inaugural port of call, ensued between Delisle Walwyn and Company Limited port agents, the St. Kitts Tourism Authority and the Viking Star. Several officials from the government visited the ship, including Minister of Tourism, Honorable Lindsay Grant, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Tourism, Mrs. Kathleen Henry Morton, Commissioner of Police, Mr. Ian Creeley, and Chief Executive Officer of the St. Kitts Tourism Authority, Raquel Brown. Coming up, private sector alerts business community on crime. The details when we come back.
Hey, what you doing? The time passing. Next thing you know, it's a Christmas even, and there's hustle and bustle and fretting. Every year can't be the same thing. At Courts, everything waiting. The best deals, the best prices. Christmas this year, give you niceness. Come to Courts, you're invited. Let's go! Down to Courts, you know we've got the best in show. To be satisfied, come on, let's go. Down to Courts, that's where it's going down. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go.
In Guyana, the Georgetown Chambers of Commerce and Industry recently wrapped up its first security forum, during which business owners were told not to lose confidence as the private sector will continue to raise its voice against criminal activities. More from Royden Drakes.
The Georgetown Chamber of Commerce recently concluded its inaugural Security Forum and Expo. The event was an opportunity for stakeholders to provide security proposals and solutions, including those related to tackling cyber threats. The seminar was also an activity to demonstrate to companies to make lives and businesses more secure. Speaking during an interview with Nightly News on Monday, GCCI President Mr. Vishnu Durga said that while the private sector will continue to raise its voice and speak out against crime, it will still work on attracting more investments, noting that Guyana is still a good place to do business.
We had an investment forum on Saturday as well, which attracted 50 overseas companies. And again, the biggest question on their mind was, how safe is it doing business in Guyana? If these companies were to start in Guyana, if we attract more of these companies, that creates employment, but they go hand in hand. If we don't work on the security situation, companies will always take a long time to make that decision if and when they will actually come into Guyana.
Mr. Durga noted that the forum was a timely one, given that Guyana is still ranked as one of the more unattractive places for doing business internationally, and the question of security plays an integral role in any investment decision.
One of the key decision points for any private sector operative is to always figure out how safe is my investment, because your economy can be slow, but people may still be able to invest while their life is not at risk. But if their assets and their lives are at risk, even if the return is very high, they'll think twice.
The GCCI head said the seminar was prompted by the escalation of security miseries countrywide. This comes even as the police are reporting a reduction in crime. Mr. Durga noted too that the private sector is willing to work hand in hand with security forces.
So we would encourage people who are interested in serving in the police force to apply to the various colleges so that we can work on, and the private sector will continue speaking on this as well, that we can close that gap of having the required number of police officers in the force.
The seminar attracted international companies such as Microsoft. The Chamber is currently deciding whether they are going to make the forum an annual event. Royden James, HGP Nightly News.
Coming up, members of the Institute of Chartered Accountants stopped by to speak with us about a week of activities. Upfront is next. Hello and welcome to Upfront. I'm Carla Barrett, and in the studios with me is Carol Boddy, and she's the president of the Institute of Chartered Accountants, and Ms. Tufida Stewart, and she is the chair of the week of activities that's about to take place. Good evening, ladies, and welcome to Upfront.
Good evening, Carla.
Okay, let's start with you, Madam President. Tell us, what is the Institute of Chartered Accountants?
Okay, in November in 2000, at Old Town Montserrat, an agreement was made amongst head of states of the OECS to bring the Institute of Chartered Accountants into being. The main purpose of the Institute of Chartered Accountants is to regulate the accounting proficiency in the OECS territories. At that signing, we had 6 members who signed. We had Montserrat, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Lucia, Antigua, Montserrat, and Dominica. Then, in 2001, the act was passed here in our parliament in St. Kitts, bringing into being the Institute of Chartered Accountants, St. Kitts Nevis branch. The aim is to regulate the profession not only in St. Kitts but within the entire OECS region. And so we fall under the umbrella of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of the Eastern Caribbean, which represents St. Kitts, Antigua, Montserrat, Dominica, St. Lucia. The only person or the only country that hasn't signed on as yet is St. Vincent.
Okay.
We wanted to establish a framework within which the accountants can work within the region, raise the level of the accounting proficiency in the area. And it also sets out within the Act who can practice as who can. It also sets out in the Act who can perform audits within these countries.
Okay. All right. Now you're having a week of activities. Tell us about that, Ms. Stewart.
Okay. The week of activities is actually occurring the second time around. Last year we had it, and it was very well attended. And this year we decided we were going to do it again and keep on doing it continuously and going forward. The theme for this year is thought leaders, in the accounting profession. Thought leaders, as you may know, are informed opinion leaders. They are the go-to people in the area of expertise. And we believe accountants, chartered accountants in particular, supposed to be thought leaders. And so we're going to emphasize that during this week of activities, and we have a number of activities planned. The week of activities starts off on October 31st, and it ends on November 6th. On November 1st in particular, Tuesday, we have a workshop for accountants and persons within the community who would be interested in auditing. It focuses on international standards on auditing, and the emphasis would be on the new audit report. This would be held at the Marriott Hotel, starting 8:30 to 4:30 p.m., and it will be facilitated by Lisa Padmore. She is a manager at Ernst & Young, one of the top 10 accounting firms. So she would be making a very dynamic presentation on the new audit reports that's going to take effect in November, I believe. Is it November, Carol, or December?
It takes effect for financial statements that end December 31st, 2016.
Okay.
And it is especially important that accounting personnel, executive members of the boards, especially members of the audit committees of publicly traded companies, be in attendance, because it affects publicly traded companies. Those are the companies that are registered on the ECSE, the stock exchange. The new standards directly affect these companies. So we are appealing to members of publicly traded companies, board of directors, audit committees, the accounting staff, the CEOs, to register for this seminar.
And the costs for members are $250 US, and for non-members, it will be $300 US.
I want to thank you both so much for coming and speaking with us about the Institute of Chartered Accountants and the week of activities. This has been Upfront. I'm Calabarge. Stay tuned for more news.
Can you afford to lose everything? In times of uncertainty, ensure you have the security of Quartz Payment Protection. When you shop with Quartz Ready Finance Gold or Ultimate Plan, if you lose your job after 6 months of making payments, our redundancy coverage ensures that the payment on your account continues for up to 12 months. Don't risk losing everything. Shop with Quartz Ready Finance and get the payment protection plan that protects you against redundancy, disability, death, and loss of item due to natural disaster, fire, flood, or theft. Quartz Ready Finance with payment protection. Quartz, bringing value home.
WikiLeaks, the whistleblower site, has released another batch of hacked emails belonging to staff members of the Democratic presidential candidate Hillary Clinton. But at a campaign stop in Florida on Tuesday, Clinton said nothing about the scandal. Her supporters say the leak will do little to change how they intend to vote. More in this report.
With just 2 weeks until Election Day, Hillary Clinton is focusing on what her campaign considers a must-win, the state of Florida. Early voting has already started in the southern state. The Clinton campaign says record numbers of young people and Latinos have already cast their ballot. Still, Clinton is taking nothing for granted. She'll make 4 stops in Florida in just 2 days, as she warns voters not to support her Republican rival.
The first thing a president does is to take an oath to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution, and I have serious doubts about whether Donald Trump even understands what that means.
But still nagging Clinton's campaign is her ongoing email scandal. Fresh WikiLeaks emails show President Obama himself did not know Clinton was using a private server for government work. Her aides write it as a mess they had to clean up. Her supporters say it will do little to change their vote.
I think there's skeletons in every closet, and if it was any other politician, her email scandal and the acts of her husband would not be looked at to the degree that it has been held against Hillary Clinton.
Most polls show Clinton has been leading for weeks, but Trump says polls can't be trusted.
I think we're winning the race. I think we're actually winning. And I have a feeling that it's going to be a tremendous victory.
He's also campaigning in Florida with 5 campaign stops over 3 days, including a stop at his private golf course. Given the large population in Florida, the Clinton campaign calls this state the big prize. That's why losing here is not an option for either candidate. Kimberly Helkett, Al Jazeera, Miami, Florida.
Up next in sports, Pollard slams the WICB for questioning his commitment. Stay tuned. All-rounder Kieran Pollard has challenged the West Indies selectors' rationale for dropping him from the Tri-Series in Zimbabwe in November. Pollard said he was told that he had not been committed to batting during the recent limited overs game against Pakistan in UAE. Calling the decision funny, Pollard said he would not campaign or do anything to convince them to select him and instead focus on looking after himself in the future. Pollard was left confused as the chairman of the selectors, Courtney Brown, said that Pollard's experience would be good for the young West Indies squad. Along with Pollard, wicketkeeper Dinesh Ramdin too has been dropped from the upcoming Tri-Series in Zimbabwe, which will also feature the host and Sri Lanka. The Cleveland Indians beat the Chicago Cubs 6-0 as the World Series opened on Tuesday night, a matchup between the two teams with the longest championship drought in the major leagues unfolded before a once-in-a-lifetime backdrop for the city. Here's more.
Chicago is on pins and needles as the journey to the World Championship for the Cubs is underway. On Tuesday night, the Cubs lost heavily to the Cleveland Indians, totaling out at 0-6. While this score has harmed the ratio of whether the Cubs will take home the trophy or not, there is still plenty of time to recover with a 7-game series. Chicago fans hope for a victory during Game 2, playing out Wednesday night.
When we come back, we'll have another look at the stories that made the headlines. Recapping the top stories, Prime Minister Harris hosts monthly press conference, newly appointed senator sworn in, and police investigates 2 shooting incidents. And that's the end of the ZIZ Channel 5 newscast. Thank you for joining us. I'm Carla Barrage. Goodbye.